Welcome, 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 everyone. We are live here with another coffee chat, and it's early, 7:30 a.m. Thursday morning, and I have the dynamic guest this morning. Oh, yeah. If you've ever been wondering how to develop a community, or you've been driving in your car and you're like, man, there's a bunch of trees over there. The next day, the trees are gone. The next day, you see the foundation being laid. The next day, well, maybe not the next day, but a few months later, you see a house completely built, and you're wondering how and where and when did that happen? I've got the guest on here today to share all of those details with you. Welcome to the show, Erica. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having me this morning. I really appreciate the invite.
Oh my gosh, it is such an honor. You do so many fantastic things, so many fantastic things. And many people say you shouldn't do so many things. And when I've seen you, I was like, she's like my avatar, man, because I love doing multiple things. So when I see you doing it and you doing it exceptionally well, nothing is lacking. I'm like, okay, I got permission because Erica's doing it. Uh, so take 2 minutes, if you will, to tell people who you are and what you do while I share this broadcast.
Okay. I do want to address where you say that, people tell you all the time that you should not do multiple things. Well, guess what? All of my things are related to each other. So I say it's different lanes on the same highway.
Come on
So
now.
everything is intertied together. It's not like I'm in real estate and then I'm over here selling hair or cooking meals. Everything that I do is real estate related, and it's in multiple facets of the residential real estate. We've expanded into commercial and development, but as you can see, there are multiple lanes, but all of them are on the highway of real estate or something that is tied to real estate. I have a finance company called No Limit Financial, which makes real estate deals happen, finances. And then we have an insurance company, Property and Casualty, which again insures properties. So we have multiple lanes on the same highway. So make sure that you understand the difference. If
That
that
makes a
kind of
lot of
gives you an idea of what I do in a nutshell, and that I am a serial entrepreneur, but many lanes on the same highway. Remember that.
I love that. Thank you for clearing that up. That makes a lot of sense. So I got to find a way to make sure I'm on the in this going in the same direction, just many different lanes. Now, I don't know how my stage plays and playwriting is going to tie into real estate, but somehow or another I guess because we're transforming people, so we'll find a way to connect that. Maybe that's why
It's
I put
your
it on the back burner.
process. It's your story.
See, that's why you're a freaking business coach too. Come on, somebody. You're being very modest. She's also I got to get it out. She's also a developer. She's also she owns a brokerage, real estate brokerage. So you've got real estate agents working for you. She said the insurance company, the finance company. She's also a business coach. And today, again, as we started out this coffee chat, if you've ever been wondering what in the freaking world, how do people get these houses up? What is a developer? Erica is here to speak specifically to that today. But at the end of the broadcast, we will give you a chance to connect with her if you are interested in anything else. She's also a real estate investor. I don't know if I said that. So, um, Erica, tell the people what exactly is a developer.
A developer is a visionary.
Mm.
They take raw land and they convert it into something else greater than what it was. Or sometimes real estate development includes tear downs and wiping the slate clean and then restarting again. And you're painting this canvas to make a beautiful picture that is going to increase the economy, increase somebody's affordability in life. And it's just your canvas that you're painting on.
I love it. What got you interested in this? Because I got to tell you, we already know that real estate is a male dominated world. But when it comes to developing, it's really dominated by men. What got you interested into this?
Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about my backstory. I started in real estate. I was investing, Then I decided to get my license. I started selling, and my dad thought it was the worst idea ever to be a real estate agent, because he says the real estate agent gets the smallest check on the hood. Why would you want to be a part of that? So, a part of my process, my story is I just wanted to help people, and I wanted to, give them the satisfaction of owning a home, because in the area where I was, not many African Americans owned their homes. And so I was showing people how to buy houses with no money down.
Mm-hmm.
And that was getting their earnest money back at closing. That was my niche. I sold 75 houses my first year. Then you understand that you have a transition, and as you grow, you look at other opportunities and other things, and you start seeing a shift. And I decided, I've kind of, mastered this, but I want something that is more challenging and doing something that is going to have a greater impact than one by one families, and where you can have a greater impact is in the development sector.
Now you said something that my ears just really like freaking perked up. You said you sold 75 homes in the first year. Okay.
Yes.
I know we're not slated to talk about that, but can I please take 2 minutes and talk about that?
Yes.
What did you do? How did you accomplish that?
I was working 7 days a week. First. And I will tell you, I did what most people do not do starting off in real estate. Most people go in with the job employee mindset as a single agent. I went into real estate with the mindset that this was a business. So I hired my best friend at the time the first week of me starting real estate, because I knew what my weakness was. Paperwork is my weakness. I like to talk to people. I can, have that one-on-one engagement with people. I'm good at that. So instead of people saying developing your weaknesses, I built on my strengths and did the part that I enjoyed most. And I made a sacrifice, even though I hadn't made any money, even though I had an unusual situation where I did have a contract on a house, but I had to do the deal with somebody else because I didn't physically have my license yet. And I didn't want them to lose the house because I was already telling people about what I was going to do. So anyway, I lost my whole train of thought. So I employed my best friend so that she could do my paperwork. And she did my paperwork while I went out and just worked and talked to people. I had been in bail bonding. So I would be at the jail at midnight talking to people about buying a house. So once I got my name out for being this person that was able to put people in houses that was an unserved community, my business exploded. And my thing was, you're going to put up $500 earnest money, and I'm going to help you get it back at closing. And it just spread like wildfire. People were calling me, coming, and I was just working the deals. And like I said, that first year, I worked 7 days a week. I might even worked on Christmas that year.
Wow. Wow. So what I heard you say was, number one, treat it like a business. Number two, riches in the niches. Number three, develop your strengths and hire people to work your weaknesses.
Yes.
Wow. Good. Y'all give some love in the comments. Give some love in the comments. We weren't even supposed to talk about that, but that was just a great gem, because right now there's so many real estate agents leaving the business and so many mortgage brokers leaving the business. And so thank you for that. Susie says, wow, 75 houses. She said, knowing your strengths and weaknesses and building upon them is fantastic advice. Thank you so much. Good deal. Good deal.
I believe in being happy.
Ooh, and come on.
Happy is when you're doing what you like and not in the daunting task and doing things that you don't want. Not that I never do things that I don't like doing, but I have people that do most of the things that I do not like doing.
Smart woman, and I think that's how it should be. Let's jump back into the development world because I think it's really amazing. Like I said, I do stage plays and real estate investor, and I'm a mortgage advisor, getting loans for people. You know, you find them the house, I get them the financing, and I think it's amazing just to see communities, pop up what seems like overnight, and then just to see families now inhabiting houses and living there and having the pride of home ownership, and to know that you do that, it really rocks my world, for lack of a better phrase. But if someone is thinking about doing that, building a community, developing raw land, or either taking an existing building and tearing it down and redeveloping a community, what would be the most important thing they would need to know before jumping into the development world?
Cost. Know
Mm.
your numbers. Everything is going to come back. That's where you're going to fail or succeed. A lot of people go into things, I like this, da, da, da. But funding, knowing your numbers is very critical, because the bigger the project, the bigger the risk. So now, if you were starting with a real estate transaction, you might lose a few $100s, but this could be thousands of dollars with errors and mistakes. So I would say know your numbers, get proper training, get a mentor if you need to, study as much as you can. A lot of things are saying that you need to have at least 10,000 hours to become an expert in a particular area. So you need to, knowledge is key, but you have to have execution and application. People spend their time going through all these YouTube videos, going to all these classes, but if you never execute or you never get a game plan to apply the knowledge that you have, it's not going to move the car forward. It's the difference between potential energy and kinesthetic energy.
You're so right. I always say, what good is knowing if you never do? So that's the thing. Do you really know? Because you haven't done it. So I love that. I love that. I heard you say get a mentor. I know back a couple of years ago when I was doing research and whatnot on YouTube, there's really not a lot of information on on developing real estate. I'm just going to be honest with you. So where and how do you find a mentor? Or if someone's watching right now, let's just go ahead and drop it. How would they connect with you to find out what's the next step?
Go and I have a fan page. You can go either on my website, bossupacademy.com, or you can follow me on different social media platforms.
So did you go to school for this, or did you have a mentor, or did you go the expensive route and just jump in head, feet, and just say, I'm going to learn it on the go?
I would say I didn't have one particular person that was a mentor. I kind of dealt with different people on different aspects. And then also I found people that were already experts and already had experience, hired them to help us with certain projects.
Mm.
And not trying to do everything myself.
Gotcha. Oh, wow. Are you talking to me right now? Are you trying to single me out?
Development is a lot of project management too. So if you find the key players, and a lot of the key players will lead you to other players and who they work with on projects and different things like that. And then you just kind of tie it all together.
So who are my key players? Who do I need to have on my team if I want to go out and say, hey, I want to build 5 houses on this raw land?
I would get a good engineer, because they're going to go in and they're going to read the codes, make sure that, say 911, they may say, okay, this is because this street can only be this length, then you can only have so many houses on here for emergency purposes. And they're going to do the diagram and tell you the best use of the land, and they're going to map it out and different things like that. So they will give you the general overlay of everything, and then they'll check with the county in reference to, zoning and 911. And then there's going to be coming back to things where they may take out where you propose 50 lots. Now you got to have common areas and different things like that, drainage, and looking at different maps for elevation and different things like that. So your engineer and having a really good engineer firm to work with is major key.
Mm. What about contractors? When do you introduce them into the equation?
At the very beginning.
At the very beginning.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're working with you with the scope of everything that is going to be happening going forward. And then sometimes you have to use their expertise depending on how familiar you are with the area. You may want to go off of things that they've built in the past. What was a good seller, a ranch, a 2-story? What does this area call for? Townhouses versus single family. You can even do development with now mobile home parks.
Hmm.
So with the affordable housing crisis or gap, you can have different facets of this whole thing or mixed use properties. So what is going to be your best use? And so when you got a solid team, you can kind of bounce off of each other.
Good deal. Where are you getting your financing from, or like how much do you have to have of your own funding up front? Or so I'm asking a lot of questions. Does the project does that serve as collateral, or do you have to have a percentage to put down? And if you have to have a percentage, how much typically? And where's the funding coming from?
You can work with CDFIs. You can now we're looking at this pilot program with state housing to see where we fit in that equation. Your own funding, your land. A lot of people don't depend on, and other people's money is the best money, right? OPM. And you just got to be careful not to you use funding to leverage yourself but not over leverage yourself, so that way you don't get into a financial crisis because you've over leveraged yourself. You can use some of the land as collateral, and it's about negotiations as well, because sometimes you might have to pay up front to get the deal done. Some people don't need all the cash up front. They want to own or finance it, or they might cut a deal where you pay them at the end of the project or so much in increments during the project. So you have to have great negotiation skills, and it depends on how you acquire the property as to which direction you want to go in to get this done.
Wow, that's crazy. See, and I have you on here for my own personal reasons too. It is to help it is to help the public. But I am just fascinated by you doing this. I didn't even realize that seller financing could apply in a development deal. So there's just so many different ways to skin a cat, and hence the reason why you should get a mentor, so that you can explore the different avenues that are available to you.
Right.
Typically when developing, let's just say you're putting up 5 houses, 10 houses, 5, 10 houses. How long does it take from start to finish, to getting the plans, the engineer, the financing, the contractors, to being boom, we're done, we're ready to list it now with my brokerage? How long does it typically take?
Well, it's going to depend, because some municipalities going to require you to have hearing. It depends on how the property is zoned. Do you have to get it rezoned? Infrastructure, weather. There's just a gamut of things that could go into your timeline. But I think that 12 months is a very doable timeline for a project like that with 5 houses.
Mm. Now, what in the last year you've probably put up what, 2 or 3 communities?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How 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 in the world, and how many houses are in those communities? And because I think some of them were even townhouses and duplexes, not
Well,
just single family.
we're on phase 2 of the townhomes, but we build those to rent.
Gotcha.
So because now you got a lot of build to rent communities. So that's when you have to, in real estate, you have to be able to shift. You have to be able to pivot. You can't just go off of what you did 3 years ago or 2 years ago. Now build to rent communities are very popular because we become more of a rental society, right? And then as interest rates go up, it lessens people's buying power, but it does not necessarily mean that materials are going to go down with their buying power. So you got to be able to shift and not be that person that says, who moved my cheese? So you got to look at market trends, and you always want to be pumping your pipeline. You always want to be prospecting. Like we have somebody in our office, they're calling sellers every day, owners of properties every day, trying to acquire properties. So that way we keep our pipeline full. And then a lot of people, you'd be surprised, the people that know what you're doing that will bring you deals, because not only do they want to contribute to your success, but sometimes they want to get rid of this property and they don't want to go through, say, a traditional sale process on the market and all that, and they know that you can buy the property. So once you get recognized in your area for buying properties, being an upstanding business person, the money follows.
It actually does. And I like what I heard. One of the biggest points I want to regurgitate is telling people what you do. So many people try, I always say this, being the best kept secret is not great. You know, if you do something well, why would you want to be a secret? So telling people what you do oftentimes lessens the amount of money that you have to spend and time that you have to spend in advertisement, because people will do the advertisement for you. Tell me something. Is the process hard? Because I heard you say earlier, you know, you got to connect with municipalities, and you're right with these zoning laws and stuff. Is the process hard with working with the government to make sure that, you know, you're not violating any zoning laws?
I think somebody might kill me for this, but I think that doing this is a lot easier than working with a first-time home buyer. It's a long process.
Wait a minute. Being a developer is easier than working with a first-time home buyer?
Yeah, I think that when I was working with first-time home buyers, it was a lot more stressful.
Yeah, when you're doing 75 properties in a year, that is stressful. But it is also, it can be a little stressful too, because a lot of times first-time home buyers don't have the education or the funding to do what they need to do. And sometimes, because like with the way the market is right now, sometimes they're priced out, you know, and so you have to be creative. But yeah, wow, that's crazy. What do you like most about developing?
Like I said, it's like a canvas. You get to paint this pretty picture, and you can go on my page. You'll see a lot of the reels that I do, whereas this trees, then they tear the trees down, and then it goes through like a metaphor. This is like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly.
Yeah, I love that. I love that metaphor. So for someone who's watching, what would they gain from being in your mentorship, learning how to become a developer?
My biggest thing is application. So many people give people knowledge. I see people, I had a girl last week telling me, oh, I went to this girl's boot camp and we were in this group and she paid $15,000. She paid $30,000. They're paying these ridiculous amounts, haven't done a deal. They've got all this access to this online library, all these videos, all these training sessions, but there's no application. And I tell people, being a thinker, solving problems, and being able to know. KNOW. The K standing for knowledge, W standing for wisdom. If you drop those two letters and know, you have the word no. That means you're going nowhere. So the biggest thing is application. And that's what people fail at. And that's why a lot of people are not successful. If you know what 3 times 4 is, but you don't know when to apply 3 times 4, and you looking at a matrix and you sitting there counting them one by one, you don't know when to apply what is 3 times 4. What does 3 times 4 mean? It means 3 rows of 4, right? But if you can't apply it and all you know is 3 times 4 is 12, you're going to sit there and count each time and go the long way. Or you may miscount and you end up with the wrong answer. And that's not going to help you be successful. So application. Be a thinker. Train your mind to think. A lot of people are not trained to think. and I help people train their mind. Just like you train your body in the gym, you got to train your mind to think. And you got to be able to think in multiple perspectives. The same thing a lot of times is not going to happen twice. You got to be able to transfer knowledge. A lot of people do not, and they have not exercised the ability to do that, and they haven't had anybody to develop that in them or to train them to do that.
Wow. It's not very often that I'm speechless, but I'm but you just brought me like way down, because I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking how I'm missing some of that in my life. And I'm just thinking about the many people who are missing exactly what you just said. You can give people knowledge all day, but application is so important, holding them accountable and actually having them execute the knowledge that they've gained is probably worth more than anything. Wow. What they say we learn by doing, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Well, Ms. Erica,
if you never get the opportunity to do, what's going to happen?
You become stagnant. You start dying figuratively and literally.
Yeah, and if you never access, you got to get out of your head and into action. It's like standing there with a loaded gun. Somebody's here to kill you, but you never pull the trigger.
Wow. Wow. Get off my toes, man. You're standing on my toes. It's hurting real bad. I've had you on here 30 minutes. You've been a wealth of knowledge. Please, if someone wants to connect with you to find out more about insurance, becoming a realtor, getting funding, learning how to develop land, becoming a real estate investor, how would they connect with you to do those things? Before a business coach, because I think that is so important if you need training on business, because I think you have a saying about too many of us know the business but not the business. How does the saying go?
Get out of business and get into business.
See, I tell you, I watch it. You know, people be lurking on Facebook. They might not say a lot, but I'm watching and learning. So if you want to get out of business and get into business, how do we do that? How do we contact you?
BossedUpAcademy.com. You can DM me or you can call me. It doesn't matter. I'm pretty flexible on how to get in touch with me. But Bossed Up Academy has all my contact information. And I'm on most social media platforms.
Is there anything you want to share before we end this coffee chat this morning?
No, I just want to thank you again for having me. You know, the rent we pay on earth is service, and always give back your talents, give back your knowledge, whatever you do, give back, because sometimes you can never pay it forward. And there will be people in life that will help you that you could never repay, just like there are people that you may help that could never repay you. So remember that service is the rent that we pay here on earth.
Wow. Thank you so much. What a perfect way to end this. You guys make sure you go and check out Miss Erica Simpson at Bossed Up Academy. I had this hashtag Suham approved. She's definitely Suham approved. So go check her out. Lots of great stuff: business, insurance, financing, real estate, investing, developing. She does it all. So go check her out at Bossed Up Academy. We'll see you guys next Thursday, same time, 7:30 a.m. right here on Coffee Chat. Have a blessed one. Thanks again, Erica.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.